on Nook, where we learn about amazing people who changed the world. Let's take a journey into the past to meet someone very brave. 9 months before Rosa Parks, a 15-year-old girl said no. Her name was Claudette Colvin. Claudette was born in Montgomery, Alabama on September the 5th, 1939. She grew up with hardships of being raised in a poor community and the loss of family members. 2 days after turning 13, her closest sister, Delphine, passed from polio. Although Claudette was a good student, she had difficulties making friends with her schoolmates due to the grief that she experienced. Claudette was a member of the NAACP Youth Council, and it was there that she met and became friends with Rosa Parks. In 1955, when Claudette was a student at Booker T. Washington, a segregated high school, she had to ride the city's buses to get back and forth since her family did not have a car. As a member of the NAACP Youth Council, Claudette was learning about the civil rights movement and was greatly aware of the segregation of her times and the custom of segregated seating within the bus system. One day while boarding the Highland Garden bus, Claudette sat down in a middle row near an emergency exit. The area in the front of the bus for white people became crowded. Black Americans were expected to move from nearby seats to let white people sit while they moved to the back of the bus. Soon, a white woman got on the bus and didn't have anywhere to sit. The driver, Robert Clear, demanded Claudette and the other black women sitting with her to move to the back of the bus. The other women obliged, but Claudette remained seated while a pregnant black woman, Ruth Hamilton, boarded the bus and sat next to her. Ruth refused to do so and replied to the driver that she paid her fare and did not feel like standing. Claudette also refused to get up. The police were contacted, and upon their arrival, they convinced the black man sitting behind Claudette and Ruth to move so Ruth could move back. Nevertheless, Claudette continued to refuse to move and was brutally removed from the bus and placed under arrest by 2 police officers. At that moment, history had her back. She felt their hands on her shoulders as she refused to give up her seat. Claudette was taken into custody by the officers, but their behavior led her to fear that they had motives to assault her. She was arrested, declared a ward of the state, and charged with breaking segregation laws, misconduct, and resisting arrest. Her conviction led to outrage in the black community. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. traveled to Montgomery to fight against her arrest, and leaders in the civil rights movements pursued actions to end segregation on buses. Claudette was considered as the face of this movement, but was viewed as being too young and too dark in complexion to be the face that the movement desired. 9 months later, Rosa Parks was in a similar situation while riding on a bus, and like Claudette and Ruth, she refused to give up her seat. As a result of Rosa's defiance, a lighter complexion, and training for civil disobedience by the NAACP, she fit the criteria that was befitting for the face of the movement, thereby quietly erasing Claudette from the movement's front lines. Claudette's role was far from being over. She and the other women who had been harassed on the bus that day in 1955 were called upon as plaintiffs in a lawsuit opposing the legitimacy of segregated buses. Claudette testified in a case that ended bus segregation. Her voice helped change the law. Although Claudette has mostly been a forgotten moment in history, her strength, courage, and determination in standing up against segregation uncovers the diminished narratives of silenced champions. She wasn't the perfect symbol, but she was the perfect spark. And now her story rises. What measures can you positively take to make your voices heard throughout the world, to be advocates for justice and democracy? Thanks for hanging out with me. See you next time on Mijene Smith.